Remember that graphic texts are not meant for reading aloud. The vast majority of the writing is speech, and that just doesn't work, not without the use of a lot of drama and action anyway. And even then, I'd want children to read graphic texts independently and individually first. Then you could come together and discuss the story, ask questions, agree and disagree with the artist's choices, and so on. I'd love it if children were encouraged to read these texts on their own, then had time to discuss them in pairs or small groups independently of adult support, and only then come to an adult-led group. Comprehend the text. What's going on? What's it about? Start literal and get deeper from there, and don't rush on if you feel understanding is lacking, because that risks building on misconception. Remember, the focus for discussion is better understanding, not getting through as many pages as possible. It's got to be better to have read 3 pages and thoroughly understood them than to have read half the book and barely got what's going on. What's the point? Encourage children to generate their own questions about the plot, about characters' behaviours, about vocabulary, about the artist's choices, anything. Their questions will tell you an enormous amount about their understanding before they even start answering them. Talk about the frames and the pages as you might talk about scenes in a film. The choices the artist has made are very like the choices of camera angle, lighting and viewpoint that directors make. What colour palette has been chosen and why? Then there's the wardrobe and props. Look at the clothing and the artefacts and consider what they tell us about the character and the scene, and therefore the story. Look at facial expression and body language as acting, and consider other ways they may have acted that scene. Before long, you may forget that you're talking about lines on a page. You'll be thinking of the characters as actors. There really is something particularly engaging about the graphic novel format. You get the immersion of traditional reading mixed with the immediacy of film and other visual media. Don't forget that graphic texts aren't meant to replace any other form of reading. I think they're great. I know that they can really stretch strong readers and can inspire reluctant readers to get into reading. These project text graphic texts are particularly good for getting children to engage with our literary heritage and to identify with influential figures in history. But is the graphic Jabberwocky better or worse than the original? That's a great discussion for Key Stage 2 children, and opinions will vary between people and over time. The point is really that they are different. They do different things. I think that reading is so important that we have to encounter it in as many different ways as possible. One-to-one, small group, class, listening and reading for yourself, fiction, non-fiction poetry, picture books, pictureless books, wordless books. Graphic novels give us another way to encounter reading, encounter ideas and classics, and another way of igniting a passion for reading.